everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering book reviews. Today we're talking about One of the Good Ones by Maika Moulite and Maritza Moulite. And I got this off of NetGalley.
Same.
I'm going to say probably, yeah. Because it's Harlequin, which is now Inkyard Press. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this book. So this book is partially about Kezzy, who is it's her 18th birthday, and she is an activist. She basically is very much, she has a YouTube channel where she points out injustices and where she's trying to educate and trying to really show people the discrepancies against how African Americans are treated versus how white people are treated, and in particularly she highlights a lot of stuff about police brutality. She lives at home with her younger sister, Happy, who is 17, who is like the star of all the drama programs, and they have an older sister named Jenny, who's in her mid-20s, and she's got a job and she's moved out. So on Kezzy's 18th birthday, she goes down to a protest from where an African American man was killed because in a traffic stop. And she starts filming something, and her girlfriend, Hamina, kind of gets into it with a cop, and Kezzy ends up getting arrested. And then when she's in prison, she has a lot of head trauma from different things, from getting slammed on the ground, and in the van, she gets banged around, and she loses consciousness. So the story goes from that to, it's 3 months after she's been arrested, and people are mourning the loss of her. And her two sisters are at a big event in Chicago where Kezzy was supposed to be getting this award, and they decide that they are going to do what was her dream for right after school, was a road trip using the Green Book, and to see all the places that African Americans used to be able to stop safely. They are joined on this trip by Kezzy's girlfriend, Hamina, and her best friend, Derek, who used to be Happy's best friend, and there's like a little bit of a flirtation thing going on there still. And I don't want to give away anything, but things are not as they appear, and there are some twists.
See, and the first half of this book was really well written, to the point that I was like, this has like Prince potential.
Right.
Like, this should be an award-winning book. Then right. You slide in the major twist in this book, and it completely takes it out of the running. And it's just unfortunate, because that twist, it kind of convolutes the message.
I think it loses the message entirely.
Yeah.
And because I got to that and I was like, what? Like, what? And so, but you had like you said, the first half of this book, you have this message about this girl who was trying to better the world and who was working so hard. And then because of circumstance and because of other people's actions and other people's physical actions taken on her, her life was cut short. And not only do you have that, but you're watching her family mourn, and you're seeing how this one person, like the ripple of all the people that she affects, and that was done so well. And then you get this twist, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, and I love books with like connections and like almost magical realism connections, even though I don't like magical realism, but like, those connections that you just like are almost unbelievable. They just didn't work in this book, because it is a connections book, and it really it didn't work. It seemed too convenient and too contrived. And it didn't work, and that was unfortunate. And yeah, I wanted to like this book more, like, because that was it. Like, I really think that it was great to kind of take on this concept of one of the good ones and what that means and how that relates to racism in America, and how it's not about whether you're one of the good ones or one of the bad ones or one of the okay ones. You're human. And so like that message, I think, gets lost because the plot is so kind of out there. But also, this could have really relied, like, this is a road trip book, and it didn't even feel like that because the stops and the people along that road trip journey aren't developed enough for me to be invested and for me to care and for me to want that. So, like, it seems like there was a lot the authors were trying to do with this book, and so nothing was ever fully developed and nothing was ever fully realized, so it just couldn't get there.
Well, and it's like they're doing this road trip and they're going to these historical places that are important to African American culture, and you're not really getting anything out of it. Like, I feel like you're not learning anything, you're not seeing these places, it's just everything's kind of glossed over.
Right, I feel like, for example, with the first stop, it was just like a blip on the radar. It was like, we're here, and then we're not, and that's it, and we're not really going to talk about it at all.
It almost feels like
in a typical road trip book, you're stopping there, you're meeting somebody, you're developing like a friendship and a connection.
it almost felt like 2 or 3 books mushed together.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And I just, and like you said, that idea, because they even say that repeatedly. Why does it matter that she was one of the good ones? She was human. That's what should matter.
Right.
And that is like this message that I think gets lost. And that's a message that I think needs to be said over and over again. But the end negates everything.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And the thing is, these women that are they're sisters who write together, they have skills. Like they create strong characters. They create original characters. Every character has a very strong narrative voice. There's like a uniqueness and a freshness to their characters, but the plot just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't.
Should we rate it?
I think so.
So our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We want to do 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
See, and I was coming into this at like a solid 3.5, but the more we talk about it, like it's going down in my opinion. I think I'm gonna stick with the 3 because they do have the skills and they have the writing skills, but it's like not a solid 3. It's like a low 3.
That's kind of where I am too. Like, when I finished reading it this morning and I was trying to decide where to put it on Goodreads, I was going back and forth, and I'm like, is it a 4? But I think it's a 4. It was a 4 in my mind just because I loved their first book. And I remember like the first 150 pages, I was like, this is just as good. These women, like, everything they read, I'm going to want to write. Everything they write, I'm going to want to read. Right. And then
when you get to the twist, it ruins everything.
Right. And I'm sorry, but like the big, and I can't say what I want to say because it spoils the whole book, but I feel like the big message is negated because of the twist.
Yeah.
So that is where we are on one of the good ones, and we'll see you around.
Yeah.
Bye.